let me come to this one. You know, every day, look, yesterday morning at 5:30, the president had a meeting at State House where he summoned, they say on short notice, I don't know how long ahead, ministers of the government, permanent secretaries in the ministries, contractors, and the engineers. And the subject of the meeting was the delay in these many, many projects, these million and multi-billion and $100 million projects not being delivered on time. So the president called them for basically abuse out. It's there. The tape has gone viral. President addressing ministers, in my view, very disrespectfully, permanent secretaries, engineers, contractors. So see big men and big women sit down there and cower in the corner. And the president berating them publicly. It was a sad sight to see. It was a sad sight. But then, you know, I said, let me see. The purpose was to address the delays in these projects. And how can you, I mean, the president come and he puffing up, he huffing and he puffing and all this other thing. You know what's going on. I know somebody wrote something. Let me read what was written here by someone, and I concur with this. The person said that the ultimate admission of failure is when you parade all your ministers, permanent secretaries, and their selected contractors at day clean before the nation, confirm and demonstrate their incompetence and inadequacies, then pretend that it is not your failure, but somebody else's. At this point, there's really only one option. Start packing your thing and go home. And I agree. They get something called vicarious liability and responsibility. You're blaming all them people don't say that. Them contract people talking about, you know, I have to say this. As of a couple months ago, the word corruption wasn't existing in Guyana, or corruption was not existing, so much so that we are told that the Speaker of the National Assembly, Manzoor Nadir, banned the word corruption from being used in Parliament. Parliamentarians cannot use the word corruption. That is what is reported. They can't use the word corruption in Parliament. And we have been saying this program is running for almost 3 years now. We talk about corruption and incompetence. And what did they say when we talk about corruption? Oh, they bring the evidence. That was the mantra. Bring the evidence. And we were saying all along, that is not how it should work. Once credible allegations are made, you have got to investigate to either confirm the allegation or to debunk it. Debunking, I use the word debunk, to debunk the allegation. But they were not doing that. They were brushing it aside, blaming the opposition, blaming social media influencers of making these false and malicious allegations. They're not investigating. Then all of a sudden, a few months back, the United States Treasury Department sanctioned the PS, Ministry of Home Affairs, and two businessmen, the Mohammeds and the companies, sanctioned them. Then all of a sudden now, the word corruption is in vogue. You can't open the paper a single day, or you can't hear one of those cuss out where they're talking about corruption. Either they're using the word directly or they're alluding to corruption that it takes. Suddenly they know that you get corruption. Having said that, wonder if the Speaker is going to reverse that decision and allow for members of Parliament to use the word corruption in Parliament. I wonder if he's going to do that. I wonder if the members of Parliament are going to perhaps move a motion or whatever process they have to use to make sure, because the thing they're all over now, corruption, police force, senior officers, corruption, charged them before the court. It is no longer just that, but the allegations now are before the court. A senior police officer, 30 criminal charges for corruption-related matters. We hearing this morning now, police sergeant, all this corruption. We heard a few days ago about the rank working at the Ministry of Social Services, $150-something million found in her home, with perhaps thousands of pension books. Because of pension book, I'm a pensioner, some it's $36,000 a month you get as a pensioner. $36,000 a month you get as a pensioner. Now, if someone has accumulated $150-something million, I know over a period of time, got to be, and let me say this, it got to be in this year, because it got to be the current year, because once the year ends, then you're going to get new book. So this $150-something million that this person was able to accumulate is during 2024. Old age pension and other disability benefits and so on. Do the maths. I am no mathematician, but if you do the maths, it will tell you thousands and thousands of vouchers have to be cashed. Perhaps hundreds of thousands of vouchers have to be cashed for you to be $150-something million. And the vice president saying in the Brutus, oh, the system works. The system is not working. The system is not working. Corruption in high and low places. So the president called out yesterday, and he berated and he abused out. There's a fancy word I'm using. He berated and he cussed out. You see the man carry on. And I smiling, and I smiling. You know why I smile? Because when on the 23rd of December 2020, the president had that conversation with me in respect to the police promotion. I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission. When I was asked to call him, and I did so on the night of the 23rd, the same, during the day of the 23rd, the Police Service Commission met and created a short list for ranks to be further considered. And when I got home, I was asked to call the president, which I did, reluctantly, I must add, and he asked about the promotion of Brutus and others. And when I told him that they were not shortlisted because they have pending disciplinary matters, when you see the behavior there yesterday and the behavior with the journalists from Kaicho News some time ago, I experienced that. Man, aggressive. How long the matter can be pending? I said, well, it's not our fault. I told him, I said, in the case of Brutus avoided the process. It's not our fault. He was ducking and hiding and dodging. I told him that, and that set a certain system in motion. And I got to repeat this because it was on the 23rd of December 2020. The next day, the 24th of December 2020, Robeson, the Minister of Home Affairs, communicated with Nigel Appy, who was carrying out the functions of commissioner, with a list of ranks. I have the list, who he said must be charged criminally for varying offenses. And that same list that Robeson sent to Appy found itself to Brutus, who was the man at admin. And Brutus then wrote to those persons to tell them that they were being investigated by SOCO and CID for several nonsensical things. So I say that to say to you, I experienced. So when the public see that and hear the man carrying on and carry, sit down. You tell, what if you hear the president add up on some big people there? Sit down. President, that's the type of decorum. And I made the point, before I bring in Mr. Conway, I made the point before on this program that respect is earned. You can't demand respect. Respect is earned. What I saw there yesterday is not something that can cause the president to earn the respect. I saw a lot of people who are fearful and cowering in their corners, including ministers. When you hear the president call, Priya, oh my God, shameless people to sit there or to stand there and to take them type of belittlement from the president. I mean, you might grow up and you're respectful and so on, and you ever want answer back, but I suspect they're piling up in there. And according to Mark last night, Benchcap says a good thing the thing was in an open place where air could have filtered through, because you could imagine a lot of people sit down there and play and blowing horns, sit down there and farting. Pressure. They sit down there, they're farting, and they sit down there, they take it. Imagine when these people go back to the ministries, because almost everybody in the ministries below them would have seen how the president berated them. Better go back to the ministries. You believe anybody that really respect them? They might be fearful because you know your job on the line. If you say anything, you're gonna lose the work. So you're gonna be fearful, but you can't respect those people who showed no self-respect to sit there and stand there in many cases and be berated in that manner. And you know, again, the sad thing is that nobody can whisper to the president, boss man, this is not the way it should be done. Boss man, you're talking about the big men and big women. If any man call out Ashley Singh, the finance minister, all of them call them by name and they sit down there. And the contractors, that I noted some of the people who are supposed to be contractors getting all sorts of multi-million-dollar projects, they weren't there. They weren't there. Let me bring Mr. Conway to office here. I got something more to say on this, but let me give Mr. Conway some of the button about this 530. This 530 madness, CC. What are your views?
It was shocking to the bone. And then I realized 5:30 in the morning, it's like a coup d'etat. The coup, you started early in the morning. We say, before board wife wakes, early in the morning. And it's like a president organizes his own coup, a coup against himself. Here it is, targeting small and medium scale contractors. Not the big ones, not the $1 billion ones. The one with a couple of $1 million, them is people who he targeting. And who he really was targeting? He was really what we call effing up, targeting his friends, family, favorites, and flatterers. Is there one people they're targeting? People who and get the ability to run any contract, to run any project. They know about project management, but they give them, and now because it's delayed, because it's screw up, you call them together. And big men, big women, treating like schoolboys. I look at it and see big men and big women got to stand up, and I hear the president shouting on somebody and put your hands together. That apparently when you're making a presentation, you can't gesticulate, you can't use your hands to thing there, It was terrible, horrible. And dealing with the small and medium scale people, not the big ones, not the $1 billion ones. And when you look at it and it says a 4 months period, what about people who get contract and going over for years, going over for 6 months, 8 months, and finish? Why 4 months? It was horrible. It was I can't find words to describe it. And then the president's telling people that is your person, he's working with you, and you are responsible. I agree. Vice versa too. That all the ministers and permanent secretary working with the president, so the president is responsible. Vicarious liability. We did yesterday is just he just showed just displaying his incompetence. We did that yesterday. Yeah, the big people, bring them together in an open forum. Yeah? And some people need that opportunity to defend themselves, shouting at them, keep your hands together, don't talk to me like that. That was very unstatesmanlike. I couldn't imagine that would come from a president, and more so a president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Yeah? It it was it was terrible. I couldn't imagine. And all the president did was talking about himself, berating himself. Vicarious liability. Is he people? Is he ministers them? Is he permanent secretaries? Is he engineers? Is he people them? And is them screwing up? So if them screwing up, is he screw up? Paul? And I can't. I'm looking for words for this describe it, but it was terrible. It was horrible. A president behaving worse than a schoolboy.
Yeah, keep your hand down, put your hand down. Oh my Lord. But it is not an isolated incident. We have seen this type of behavior repeatedly. I remarked earlier about the Kaicho News journalist with the ousting, where he shouted and that. A lot of people, some time ago, I think it was Sakur on BBC, the president had an interview, and I was ashamed. Or some people complimented, oh, he attacked. But they got something called decorum and diplomacy, that you could make your point in a very diplomatic way. You don't have to rile and rave. I can do that because I'm no diplomat. But when you have the other state behaving in this, they used to say, call them nigger behavior, that is worse than that. That is what is cause for concern. It shows the temperament. I remember when they had the Heroes Highway opening or something, there, a British journalist asked the president some question. And when he responded in such a way that the man had to actually tell him, it doesn't call for that. Why this type of aggression? Something to the effect. The British journalist remarked to him. It is shameful, it is disgraceful. But Mr. Conway, you're a man of words. You say friends, family favorite, and flatterers. That is what the people there were. But you left out the most important F. Friends, family, favorite, flatterers, and according to Mark Benskap, there are a lot of farters. A lot of people pass gas. They fart up there yesterday. And had it not been an open place, a lot of people would have get blackout. This is what we would have gone. This is crab dog behavior. Crab dog behavior. It is shameful. You can't put it no other way. And I'm waiting to see how they're going to spin this Kit Nascimento, and they're going to come out and they're going to spin. They're going to set out all them spin doctors. They're going to leave the cricket match and they're going to come and they're going to spin something about it. It is unpardonable. It is unpardonable. But then remember, these people with these contracts, they're making a lot of noise. You have a lot of people getting contract who should not. So you talk about delay. They know the whole system broken. It's a corrupt system. They got people getting contract. They haven't finished the contract and they get a new contract where the president making all this noise. They got people, and he made reference to it, so they know they're bidding low to get there is collusion in the system, so they bid low for get a job. And once they get a job, then they get overruns and all this type of thing. Remember the school on the East Bank with statement, Kashif and Shanghai and them get contract for build some $350-something million school. Delay and delay and delay. And then what happened? Another $100-something million they were given. And the vice president a few weeks ago shamelessly said that the school is complete. The building is completed. And people then have to go. Starbucks News went there to show that no, this place is not completed. They lie. They come and they tell a lot of lies. There's a report that the Namsel police station was repaired and the original cost was $90-something million. And they said the overrun was close to the same $90-something million. And them contractors can get more work. They talk about Critic get some contract for $800-something million. A man who perhaps never even built a fountain. Overrun and problem with that, and he get more contract. So what is it you are telling us, Mr. President? You all know to come and to give the impression that something is being done is this big bad wolf, and you're berating the ministers and the permanent secretaries and the engineers. There's a big set of bluff, blow, blow. There's a big set of bluff, blow, blow. Big set of bluff. But to hear what's going on there, I told you about the variations, Bamia, and then I'm saying that is what is going on. It is all part of the corruption in the system. This word corruption that the Speaker of the House of the National Assembly said parliamentarian must not use the word corruption in Parliament. And nobody got a gall to tell you all your ass, right? I guess they're thinking about parliamentary decorum and the fact that they're going to suspend you and you're going to get pay. And maybe all them things are consideration. Maybe they're considering all of those things. Yes, Johnny, it's and Jams, the Bamia School, it's and Jams and Kashif and Shanghai, they got a company called Statement. That is the company that got bid. They never even build a fountain, but they get contract to build a $300-something million school. And then when they delay and delay and delay, they get another $120-something million, it was reported to build, to continue. And then the vice president a few weeks ago said on one of his Thursday's rantings that the school has been completed. And people said, no, that is not so. And there was an article, I think it would have been in Starbuck News, which showed with picture that the school is not. Up to as we speak now, I don't think it is completed. And I'm going to sit down there and tell the nation, lie, that the school is completed. Then we accept it. We think so the president jump up and making us satanize to try to fool people. But we big, but we ain't stupid. We are big. We are not stupid. Mr. Conway, do you want to say anything more on this 530? And again, I said, students, we might got to implement something to make sure, because one of the PS or somebody turn up late yesterday morning, you get locked out. So we might got to make sure that after Sunday, you get locked out. CC, let me hear you, man.
Just to get back to what you mentioned about Mark, the president did better than ExxonMobil. They created gas, they get gas offshore. Now the president, in his performance, we had a lot of gas onshore at State House, so, a lot of things take place, But the thing is, they were saying that there is no corruption, and here it is, corruption, endless corruption they mentioned, but then the big ones, the real ones, the multi-billion-dollar ones weren't there. And even the people from their region who also gives out small contract, they weren't present. They weren't present. So the corruption is there, and what the president did, he talked about himself, and all he do is that what he did, he didn't know that something called vicarious liability. And I always remember when I was a police sergeant and instructor at the college, I work a night. Another commandant named Roy Paris, he retired as an assistant commissioner, died. And I reported to him in the morning that everything was okay. All the guards were in place and they were alert. So he said, no, he said, Sarge, you were sleeping. I said, no, sir. I said, when I work at night, I don't sleep. He said, well, look, they had Gary St. Aubin Sobers, your trainee. He said he was in the North Rabbit Walk, and he was there sleeping in the hut. And wasn't he sleeping, was you sleeping, because he's your trainee, and he take me, pattern me behalf for you, or he had respect for you. That's why he was sleeping. He said, Sarge, it is you who are sleeping and not Gary St. Aubin Sobers. So always remember vicarious liability. So the president just bought himself.
He bought himself. And without perhaps even recognizing that he bought himself. Folks, continue to